Hello everyone. I am Dr. Sanjay Solanki from Central Maharashtra, India, and we are here is Tikwa Sasun from Israel, and we have just begin a new series to discuss about Organon, sixth Organon, everything about sixth Organon, and it's not actually what teaching; it's about understanding Organon with everyone's perspective. I know a lot of people, but there is a basic understanding of organon as according to the animals' ideas. So Tikwa could give more introductory part on this. Tikwa?
Hi, this is Tikva again. Sanjay talked about us starting an Organon project. We already have a number of other projects that are going. Every year for the last 8 years, we've been doing Organon step by step, aphorism by aphorism, day by day, until we finish the full cycle of all the aphorisms. And we do that sometimes in as many as 3 or 4 groups at a time at different stages. And so that's something that I've been working on. This Organon project is really near and dear to my heart. It is very important to me as a practitioner to see other practitioners understand the guidebook. This is the basic guidebook of homeopathy, but I do mean the basic guidebook, because there is yet another book. There is another book that is this is the basic user manual, and this is the master class. So these work together. First, we need to know this. Then we need to know this. And then we're ready to work. So these books, and then of course we have our Materia Medica Pura 10-year program, where we are just like a number of months into it. So anyway, and then of course from time to time, we have to have a little bit of fun, and we'll throw in a little bit of Boninghausen just for my enjoyment, so that I can have a little more fun. But all these different books that Hahnemann wrote all give us very, very useful information. For example, in each introduction to each remedy, if the proving data are valuable, so valuable hints and tips about practice, just interspersed within the book itself, not to mention the introduction. And so I'm like a total Hahnemann fan. And so I just, I've got these groups going, and every day, come Independence Day, come whatever day, I'm there, I'm posting the stuff. It's important to me. I want everybody to feel as involved and welcome, and to, get what they need out of the groups, because it's like my life goal, right? I mean, it's like a thing for me. So anyway, Sanjay said that not only should we be doing the Organon groups, in the typed, that I post the, I'm going to give you a screen share. What I do is I post the aphorism of the day. Does anybody see it?
No,
Yeah.
not visible.
Okay. I post the aphorism of the day. Let me try to adjust my size. And then I give my easier English version. So with aphorism 1, it's pretty basic. The physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, as it is termed. And then the footnote is where it gets really cool.
And one more important thing, the word, the last word, as it is termed.
I don't know how to adjust
He-
it so that it centers better.
What happened?
I don't know how to adjust it so that it centers better.
We don't see your screen.
How did I know that me trying to do the screen share wasn't going to work? Okay, and so you see, you don't see my screen?
No?
Okay, that sucks.
Just click that screen share, and then it will give you the pattern: screen 1, screen 2, whiteboard, and iPhone, iPad, whatever. Pick up whatever you want to share.
Okay, so anyway, I'll just talk while I try to figure out how to do this. Yeah, so this Organon project is really important to me as a homeopath because I know exactly how it feels not to be to really understand what we're doing and to be confused with the patient. I totally 100% understand that because I've been there, done that. And of course, I sometimes go back there and do that again because some cases can be very laborious and complicated. But like I said, we have the organon itself is such, it's just like, it's a tool. That's what organon means, literally, like in Greek. It means that it's like a tool and a receptacle of information. So that's why it's named that. And I really don't know how to screen share that. So Sanjay said that he wants to, just have general talks about this.
Let's share your screen. Try. Click that green button.
Okay,
Click it.
document.
What? And yeah,
Yeah,
there it comes.
right. So this is my easier English version because it is very clear what Hahnemann says about, that to help cure people who are sick. But then it's the footnote that gets really interesting about theories and speculation, and not to get involved in theories and speculation and using big words, preferably Greek, in order to make the
Latin.
patient, Greek or Latin, in order to hypothesize and speculate, and then using big words with diagnosis so that the patient feels like you've got something special that that only you can deal with, and to astonish the ignorant sick, and learned reveries, theoretic medicine. He really says a lot of bad things about that. And that it's just really our job is to just help people and help them get better. So he's saying, don't waste your time in theories and talking. Just do your work honestly, with integrity. Be real and concrete. Hahnemann talks over and over and over again about us being concrete in our work. What is concrete?
Facts. Factuals.
Yeah, facts. It's all about facts. And so he says,
Nothing we have to interpret. You
Mhm.
cannot theorize. Whatever fact you see in front of your eyes, you have to take that. Here in this aphorism 1, he talks about physicians' highest and only mission to restore, seek to health,
Mhm. Yeah.
to cure, seek to health, to cure.
Yeah.
Means and then he says, as it is term, this word get a footnote, and big footnote, where as Tikwa told, very important footnote. where he has mentioned every little facts that nowadays homeopaths and all the scientific people or allopathic people are getting involved in this. And and where is that part, Tikwa?
That's right here. His mission is not, however, to construct
Footnote.
social systems. Yes, this is the footnote. By interweaving empty speculations and hypotheses. Right?
His mission, right, right.
Mhm.
What is
And
that?
I can't seem to move my screen to the right so
Oh,
that you can see it better. And I don't-
just make that little bit 185%. Type there. Type there. Click
Yeah,
on 200, 50, 75. Okay.
yeah, it's still not, it's still clipping the end.
150.
Okay, so that sentence
Okay.
is actually, yeah, so not to interweave speculations and hypotheses. And don't even worry about the internal essential nature of the vital process or the mode in which disease originates, right? Because Hahnemann says that the signs and symptoms that are displayed by the vital force are basically all we need to know. So it doesn't matter, things like diagnosis doesn't really matter, all these different theorizings that, you see, if you look at a medical book that's 70
Yeah.
years old, it's going to have entirely different information that isn't relevant today. If you look at a medical book that's even 10 years old, it has updated information, or at least it should. When I was, 30 years ago, a lot of studies were done showing that cholesterol is not the problem in heart disease. The problem is inflammation. And so I said to myself, I wonder how long it's going to be before any textbooks are updated with inflammation being the problem in heart disease rather than dietary cholesterol. And just now, it's very slowly starting to seep out into the world that dietary cholesterol is not the problem, but rather inflammation is the problem. And now there's a lot more research on that. So what the newest things in discoveries turn out sometimes to be wrong. And so the textbook medicine is always changing and updating, and it's always different. So Hahnemann's saying here, don't worry about these things with all these big words. Well, we've had enough of it. And what we need to do is to actually help and to cure. And then so from here I have my easier English kind of thing about it is our job to help and cure people who are sick. We must not waste our lives in theories and talk. Do your work with honesty and integrity. Be real and concrete about doing your job. The word high means very important. A mission, a job that
1
needs to be
minute.
done.
1 minute. Can you mute Akshita?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so a mission is a job that needs to be done. These are words, I'm defining words from the aphorism. To cure is to restore health and rid people of diseases. And then in the footnote, Hahnemann tells us what it is not our job. Therefore, do not concern yourself with speculation about disease or with fancy words and explanations. Just, Hahnemann basically gives us an instruction manual. And if we follow this instruction manual, we'll do a pretty good job and we'll be okay. And then we have, of course, our upgraded instruction manual to follow. So you have to just do your job. And what would you like to say more about this, Sanjay?
Aphorism 1.
Mhm.
Well, okay, okay. That's it. Even nowadays, we see a lot of people busy in writing books. They are busy in collecting data. They are busy in uh, speculations, right? And even we see Hanuman Road tells us even you don't have to think about the physiology and pathology, what's actually happening inside the body, because body functions are not common to each and every individual. He is talking about that. He's talking about individualized theory. So nothing is common between everything is having every individual is differing from other individuals.
Yeah, and we can
So
see this. I just want to mention one really short thing here about that. You know, you have the standardized tests, the standardized investigations, and people can have symptoms, yet their parameters will be normal. And then the allopath says, okay, your parameters are normal. There's nothing wrong here. There's nothing wrong. But then the person's saying, but I don't feel well. Something is wrong. And then they're like, but it's nothing. Your parameters are fine. You're okay. Just go home, live your life. Maybe you need a psychiatrist. But if we look more holistically, like Hahnemann shows us to do, we say, oh, a person does have symptoms. Their blood work parameters might be normal, but they are expressing symptoms from the vital force that are important, and we cannot dismiss them.
and everything he talks about the sensation and functions. Actually, what are signs and symptoms are expressions we will study in the later aphorism. But what I wanted to say, this part is a sensation. Even though a patient may show you normal or abnormal values, and he might not sense healthy, right? That sensation is very important. Means he and he's talking in this, people are wasting in time in doing investigations. He's and writing, collecting all those datas and making hypotheses. And this is not our part. As Tikwa said, in aphorism, main aphorism, he talks what we have to do. And in footnote, he's talking what we should not do, do's and don'ts, in simple ways. Our aim is just to restore sick to health. Sick who is not feeling well. We have to just focus on that part. Only signs and symptoms. He tells us only signs and symptoms will represent the internal disease. Nothing is, there is no other way to reveal that the sick person or whether he is healthy person. Only way is to understand through signs and symptoms. So only we have to look at those and we have to relieve those symptoms, right? And what is more underneath, he has mentioned, I see the black patch in the center of the screen. What is
On
that?
the Center in the screen.
And that one.
Is it better now?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so don't make systems, don't speculate. You know, I mean, it is useful for us to be able to listen to people's hearts. It's very important for us to be able to see, how a bone is broken. It's important to know, how things are basically functioning. But we don't want to get wrapped up in that and to only think that that's all there is. Because
And most important, what you have given those in your simple English. Can you read that whole thing again? Scroll down.
this here,
Yeah, the last one.
Oh,
That part.
you mean the part I wrote?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. After these little wavy marks, which I don't know what it's called, it is our job to help and cure people who are sick. We must not waste our lives in theories and talk. Do your work with honesty and integrity. Be real and concrete about doing your job. Concrete just means be factual. Be factual. Stick to the facts. The facts. And then Hahnemann uses the word high. High means a very important thing. High, important. And a mission is a job that needs to be done. So our important mission, our important job that needs to be done is the cure is to restore health and get rid of disease in people. And then in the footnote, Hahnemann says, what is not our job? Therefore, do not concern yourself with speculation about disease or with fancy words and explanations. And we could take a little modern day trip here through the corona crisis. You had everybody wondering, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And they're looking for guidance everywhere. They're looking for guidance from all these different universities and other doctors, and they're looking to the masters and all these different people. They're looking for Ayush to give them information. They're all waiting with bated breath for information about what to do about coronavirus. But if we follow Organon, that is absolutely 100% clear, no questions asked. We know what to do about coronavirus. We type the symptoms. We apply the appropriate remedy that matches the patient's symptoms. So whatever has been shown in the proving data that matches the symptoms that the person's vital force is displaying will cure the person. That's it. Homeopathy 101. We don't need to wait for all kinds of research institutes and all their information and all their things, because just by following this basic information of matching the disease symptoms to the curative proven symptoms of a remedy, there you go.
Yeah. So only this much is about aphorism 1. Here he already told what is our aim. And if you look in the next aphorism, in first aphorism he talks about what is our mission, and means is to restore the sick to health, and how that cure should be is talked about in aphorism 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. I scrolled down to aphorism 3 by accident.
Aphorism 2.
We just finished aphorism 7 in the group, guys.
And in this aphorism, we will see the highest ideal of cure. Ideal of cure means what is ideal? What is ideal homeopathic cure? And in simple words, ideal of cure is rapid, gentle, permanent restoration of health and removal and inhalation of disease in its whole extent in the shortest, most reliable, and most harmless way, and on easily comprehensible principles. And very important, all these words, word by word, is very important in this aphorism. Tikwa has mentioned in very simple words, we want to restore people to health quickly, safely, gently, using easy to understand principle. Rapid. Are we treating the case rapid or are we waiting for a long time? How much time we need to wait to take cure? That need to be planned. Means, can you explain how rapid the cure should be? Tigwa?
Well, as rapid as possible. How rapid something's going to happen really depends on whether it's an acute or it's a chronic,
Exactly.
and whether it's
Exactly.
long-term chronic or a short-term chronic, whether or not it's an acute manifestation of the chronic, or whether or not it's, I mean, if somebody gets a cold, we should be able to help them with their cold really quickly. If somebody gets, acute, stomach ailment, we should be able to help them very quickly. But if somebody is, 80 years old and they have a whole host of chronic diseases that have been suppressed for most of their life, it takes a lot longer.
Exactly. And still he is talking, if you are treating a 20 years old chronic disease and suppose it's taking 15 days or 3 weeks to just, then that's not too far because the disease itself is long. If 50 years old disease and he takes, it will take year, 1 year, 50-year disease, if taking 1 year to cure, that is not too long. And but if the disease is acute, he's saying that that acute disease should not take days to cure. It should relieve the patient from the pain or whatever disease state within minutes and hours. That rapid, it should be rapid. Then gentle, it should be gentle. You should not always go and have LACS or normal delivery. Hello, Tikwa,
Yeah.
are you there?
Normal delivery.
Sure.
you are, you look freeze.
Really? My Wi-Fi should be fine
You
today.
just keep nodding your head like this.
Oh,
No,
I don't know what's wrong. My Wi-Fi
it's
should,
fine. No, it's fine.
all right.
And then he's talking gentle. You should be gentle while selecting your remedies. That remedy should not harm the patient. That you should not. Uh, there is one myth in homeopathy: aggravation.
Yes,
First, you have aggravation, and
uh-huh.
then they will gradually come down.
Mhm.
Why the patient should have aggravation? Why you are you should not go more gentle? Why homeopathic remedy just ameliorate the disease state? And Hahnemann has changed whatever he has written in earlier aphorism to overcome these facts, to be more gentle in cure. First he was suggested to give dry doses. Then in later on aphorism 5 and 6 he is suggested to use water doses. Only because you have to. Deepika, Dr. Deepika, can you just mute your microphone? Thank you. So on this part, he's talking about these words are very important, and then it tells us permanent restoration of health means whatever you are restoring, mean curing, should not relapse.
No, but then we need this book really, and that's why this book was written.
Yeah,
This book was written to adjust to correct what the tendency to relapse. That's
and
why that
that's why we need to understand a chronic disease. What Hahnemann exactly talks about the chronic disease. And unless and until you don't understand that part, it's quite impossible to restore permanently. Quite impossible. Because if you look at the definition of chronic disease, what Hahnemann talks, because here the chronic, I don't want to bring up the later aphorisms in this part, but just to introduce that factor, the chronic disease is having very what you call imperceptible beginning and very gradual nature, and it will just decline and decline. It will not come up by itself. It will end in the what you call uh, with the life of the patient person. So she want and what the medicine does, when the other medicine you are giving to the patient or person, that symptom will just relieve for time being, and after some time that graph will again start going down. And anyone don't want this aspect, that health line is going decline, and ending with the end of that patient's life. So he's talking about permanent restoration. Whatever symptoms you are treating and which had been cured should not relapse again. And that's why Hahnemann have to work for all those 12 years to find the causes of what chronic disease. And he has written that book. Can you show that book? Dekwa, you have on the desk. Ah, yeah, that one. And then,
he's got a completely new set of provings.
yeah, complete restoration, permanent restoration of health or removal and inhalation of disease in his whole extent. He's not talking you should remove only a part of that disease state. And what is disease? It is not typhoid, it is not malaria, it is not about appendicitis, it is not about carditis or pneumonia. It's about the whole totality of symptom of the person. And and all those signs and symptoms should be removed, and they should be removed permanently. They should not relapse with the time. and he himself was having the problem. He used to treat patients, persons with homeopathic remedies, and after some time, the people were used to come back with the relapses, and he wanted to study why these relapses were happening. And for we are fortunate, he found that cause. He write everything in the chronic disease. And then he tells about in shortest and most reliable and most harmless way and most on easily comprehensible principles. Comprehensible principles means means easily understandable principles. It should not be what you call very difficult principles. It should be explained in a very simple way. And one more things, what is principle and what are rules? See, rules can change. You can change the rules, but principles will never change. Principles are statics. They will never change. They will be the principle. The, A plus B is equal to C. And whatever number you will write in that equation, that will give you the results. So principle will never change, but rules will change. So he not talking about the rules. Always in Organon he talks about principles. And what do you say about this, Tikwa?
That it's really important to, get rid of disease without harming the person. Because, when we use strong medicines, when we use strong drugs, there's always some kind of like secondary effects. There's side effects. There's things that we don't want to have happen. Let's say somebody's sick and, they go to the allopath and, they get a whole bunch of different drugs to take. And those drugs all have side effects for, let's say that they're going to take a drug that's going, to kill some germs. Then they're going to kill some bacteria, and then they're going to end up getting a yeast infection. And then that yeast infection needs to be treated. And then you have an imbalance of bacteria because we all have good bacteria in our whole bodies. And so if we disrupt the balance of the flora in our bodies, it can create other problems. People can, then get, problems with yeast. They can get leaky gut syndrome. There's a whole assortment of possibilities that can then go wrong that harm the person while we're trying to help them. And, it's one thing if you're trying, you have to take like really big heroic measures because you need to save somebody's life, as opposed to somebody has a sore throat and it's just a minor thing. So, we want to be as gentle with medicine as possible. In all cases, allopaths need to do something about this too. How big a problem is, antibiotic resistance nowadays? It's becoming a really big problem. Hopefully that'll bring homeopathy and other modalities, more to the forefront because, we work around all that. So, I mean, you give somebody, let's say a statin, or you give them an ACE inhibitor, and you give somebody an ACE inhibitor, and then, maybe they've brought down their blood pressure too much, then maybe they have erectile dysfunction. And then you need to give them some Viagra. And so it's just like, one thing builds upon another, and we have to handle this. And so you're looking at different boxes of, well, this has happened, which led to this. And now we need to treat that. Or you have somebody who has pain. So then you're going to give them anti-inflammatories, like let's say an ibuprofen. And
They tells these are what you'll call collateral damages.
Mhm. Yeah.
collateral damages. And they consider these collateral damages normal. But
Mhm.
Hahnemann, in homeopathy, they shouldn't be collateral damages. The, that's why he's talking about gentle, that
Yes.
gentleness.
100%. 100%. We need to help people feel better and to get well without there being collateral damage or other things that go along with it that need to be treated at the same time. We can't remove somebody's pain of their joints while destroying their liver or their kidneys. That's just not
Exactly.
the way a homeopath thinks. It's no-go zone. So what we need to do is we need to be careful and thoughtful and look at things holistically and help people adjust their lives and then treat them gently with gentle medicine based on safe and easy to understand principles. And then I put parentheses, given by Hahnemann here in the Organon. Because we're going to learn exactly how to do that.
Exactly. Okay, can you just can you we can continue, or shall we just stop over here?
I'm good. I was planning to do 3 today.
How many aphorisms you want to do today?
3.
5?
You see, I
3?
have 3 pulled up.
Yeah.
I have 3 pulled up on a PDF for today.
Oh, wow.
You
3
want to start?
pages. No, we can continue.
Okay, so aphorisms.
We can see aphorism 3.
If
We
the
are
physician,
not exactly reading the aphorism, but we are trying to understand the aphorism. What exactly he is talking in that, right? And in first, he's talking about mission. In second, he's talking how the ideal cure should be there. And in third, for that ideal cure, what we need as homeopath to bring out or to have our aim achieved. Okay, so he's talking about all the knowledge the homeopath should have. If the physician clearly perceives what is to be cured in disease, what he's talking, what I need to focus on in the disease. Patient may give you certain signs and symptoms. He will only give you certain signs and symptoms. But you need to pick the right, what you call, what do you call, a
agri
facet, a
facet.
correct facet. There are major symptoms, there are minor symptoms, but your focus point might be a very minor, but that can, what you call, bring down the whole tree, right? I don't know whether the people are able to understand. Tikwa, can you remember when you are here that time or during that phase, I made that torrent theory
Mm-hmm.
to explain these things
Yeah.
where we should focus on. What is the key? So basically, here what Hanuman talks about is the patient should know what exactly he has to cure. In the disease, he is telling what we need to cure in disease, right? The points we need to focus on. That is to say, every individual case of disease, a knowledge of disease, indications. And what is knowledge of disease? Knowledge of disease is not anatomy, physiology, or pathology, malaria, typhoid, or hepatitis. Not that.
Yeah, it's how the symptoms
Knowledge of
fade, how the
how
symptoms
the
are,
symptoms create, right?
how they are displayed.
And what are indications? Knowledge of disease, indications. He's talking about indications.
Proving data,
Exactly.
proving data. Modern materia medica is so vague, and it just gives like a little bit of the proving data. It's just like this little vague cloud instead of like a whole bunch of diamonds. Proving data is like you're looking at gems, and you pick up just a modern materia medica with like a theme, and it's like a cloud. So he means proving data. Proving data that we match the individual expression of the disease with what is curative in those medicines in the proving data. And then we know how to then apply the medicine in potency. So then we will know the choice of remedy, use the proper doses, and then repetition for the doses. And repetition of the dose is another very important thing that people get confused about. Because, for example, a dry dose cannot safely be repeated twice in a row. And this is something that has gotten forgotten over time. Hahnemann has given us so much wisdom that has been lost over time. It's like Margaret Tyler says, why don't we go to the fountainhead? The fountainhead means the spring, the source of the water. Why are we not going to the source of the water? Why are we just going to the water bottle in the refrigerator when we need to go to the source of the water and understand it? She's like, we're really losing our way as homeopaths. Okay, and then here's my
Can you read that your thing?
We need to know what needs to be cured in the person's disease state by reading the signs and symptoms produced by the vital force. We need to know how our properly proven medicines work using pure proving data.
Yeah, knowledge of medicine.
Then we follow the clearly defined principles given in the Organon. We match the natural disease state of the person with the most similar remedy to remove the disease. We need to understand how to dose and when and if to repeat. We need to know what prevents cure and how to treat.
Obstacles.
This information is in the Organon, and we are going to learn these things to become a true practitioner of the healing art called homeopathy.
Right. He's talking about knowledge of disease. He's talking about knowledge of medicine. He's talking about knowledge of potentization. He's talking about obstacles of the cure. He's talking about repetition of doses, a posology. And this everything the homeopath or a physician need to know. These are must things. There is no escape if you are a homeopath.
Yeah.
You cannot treat diseases with diagnostic or names. Homeopathic. You cannot treat diseases with diagnostic names homeopathically. You can, yes, you can remove the symptom for time being, but that's not cure. You might had what you call, you trigger some another new disease if you are treating like that. You need to focus on whole picture. You need to see that whole totality, and you don't need to have the what you call in nowadays in colleges we have proforma, that format of case taking, format of case papers. Just fill in the blanks what patient tells you, and same questions to each and every patient. The patient is not, and here a patient is talking about individual case totality. Might not be same in each and every case. So it's very, very important to have this knowledge. And again, homeopath need to know disease homeopathically, not allopathically. I have taught organon not, I have taught anatomy and physiology for such a long time. I use that knowledge in understanding, but I never focus like that. How the physiological or pathological uh, perspective of the disease, but we have to look in the case homeopathically, and for that we need to have knowledge of chronic disease, understand about disease, what is acute disease, what are chronic diseases. Then you can cure acute disease, because treatment part for acute disease is different, treatment for part for chronic disease is different, and that's how you will able to cure all these diseases. Otherwise, just pick any medicine with blindfolds, that remedy will bring some results, but that we cannot call that as a cure. You can pick any, because remedy, if you look at Matra Medica Pura, I mean, we are talking about Hahnemann's work. So if you, and now if you collect all those symptom totality of proving from Hahnemann to till date, polychrist remedy have symptoms like 10,000 symptoms or more. So you can just blindfold your eyes and give any remedy, and that remedy will uh, bring some symptom down. But that's not cure, because it's like a car is driving you, you are not driving a car. Right. So this
Yeah.
is very important part, and I hope you all guys have understood everything what we wanted to say, and we expect we will continue this organon part every week. Right, Tikwa?
Yeah, if we get some positive feedback that people like it, and people watch it and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally on board if it's a workable thing. If people enjoy it.
Yeah. And we have, okay, we have Deepika new. Can you just conclude this and close the recording?
So are we done? Are we done with what we wanted to say? Yeah, we had
Yes.
a question here. Somebody asked a question, asked if using Materia Medica Pura. So I want to answer that question. I use proving data. Not everything's in Materia Medica Pura, but I like to go to the proving data to look for exactly what the patient is having. And that is important because proving data is very, very helpful. You're not looking, people will have, a set of symptoms. And, when you find their set of symptoms in the proving data, you're pretty sure that that medicine is going to work. So yes, I do use proving data, but not only Materia Medica Pura, because there are remedies that are newer that are not included there. And sometimes we have to go to, herring. Sometimes we have to go to Allen. Sometimes, we're back at Hahnemann with the chronic diseases. Sometimes we're even looking at a newer proving. So yes, proving data is fundamental for homeopathy because it gives us the clearest information possible. And
Okay.
so, yes, thank you very much for joining us, everybody. And we hope to see you again. Hi,
Next
Siva
week,
Kumar.
close the recording.
Okay, so Sunday, we're back to Materia Medica Pura. And God willing, on next Thursday, we will be back with more Organon. And if you enjoy this, you can watch the recording, you can share the recording, you can comment on the recording, all that's good. You can like, share, subscribe, blah, 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 to the YouTube channel. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And see you next time.
Thank you, ma'am.